everyone.
How is Carol? You sound like so like Carol's like. Did I just talk to you guys?
I'm so tired.
Wasn't it just episode 16 like 2 days ago? Yeah. Oh, I'm Tracey.
I'm someone from Hee Haw.
And you guys, after a year of Droughtlander, this is my
Outlander
Purgatory, y'all.
Okay, let's come on.
We are ready to go. Droughtlander is over. It is done. Stick a fork in it.
It is in the books.
Say bye-bye. And I gotta tell you, it wasn't, it was long, but it wasn't like, I had things to occupy my time, so it wasn't like awful.
Yeah, it sucked.
That it was long. And like the first, couple of seconds of this episode, I was like, oh. It's back. So we're really happy to be back, you guys. We missed you. We did a couple of videos here and there, but
Christmas was the last one.
Here we go. It is 13 weeks of on.
Just to let you guys know, Tracey had some technical difficulties, so we started this 3 hours ago. Two and a half hours ago?
An hour and a half ago.
It is now 11:08 p.m.
In other news, tomorrow I'm totally getting a new computer.
I'm not a youngin', so I really need to go to bed. So forgive me for being like, hi, everyone.
And it was just my birthday, too, so
yes.
I'm feeling even less young in it.
And another thing I was going to say was the reason for my hee-haw comment is I went to a mother-son hoedown at school tonight with my son, wee Ian, and I still have on what I was wearing, so hee-haw.
Hey, you know how to catch a rabbit? Go in the woods and make a noise like a carrot?
So, in other news, you must be ready to get good and liquored up. What you drinking?
I don't remember what this is called, but it's some kind of scotch.
I'm drinking this lovely white, but it's special because, and I stopped at the King's just to get it, because it's French.
France.
It's from France. Because, I had total, French wine buyers or wine buyers from France on the brain. So I got this. It's Comte's Zeroni.
Oh, God, that was so... Okay, Jeff Santa Monica is laughing so hard right now. That was the worst pronunciation of anything ever that we've ever done.
Zeroni.
Tracey... I am going to skip ahead just for a second because did you not laugh so hard when you saw it again and saw Murtaugh on that ship get off the ship and say frogs when he was talking about the way it smelled and he was like, ugh, it smells like frogs.
Oh, see, I thought he said horse.
You thought he said horse. Horse, frogs.
I thought he said horse.
And it was so much more entertaining and funny when I realized he said frog. I leaned over to Tracey at the premiere and I went, what did he say? And I said, what smells? And she's like, horse.
Well, wait, before we dive into the recap and just talking through the episode, we should say that yes, we were able to attend the premiere on Monday night in New York City at the Natural History Museum, which was sort of an interesting place to have the premiere. I couldn't quite figure out exactly why they chose to have it there.
Pretty cool.
Carol, we should give those away. We should have a contest to give away the tickets. Because I have a ticket too.
It's
and they're very pretty.
It's not working. I can't get it to.
But yeah, I couldn't quite figure out why it was there, but it was nice theater. And it was so much fun to see tons of friends that either we haven't met yet, like the Outlander podcast girls, Summer and Ginger.
I know, that was fun.
And our friend Jack Santa Monica that we often see on chat and on Twitter.
She's been coming to chat forever. Love her.
Yes. Tons. Carla, of course, was there.
It was so good to see Carla. When was the last time we saw Carla?
I know, right? Just just people that we see, that we talk to a lot online, but we don't often see in person. So that was tons of fun. We were a little more removed than we were last year. We didn't get to do the red carpet this year, but you know what? I'm sure they're all sad, and Sam and and Katrina were like, "Where are those crazy girls with the doll?" Yeah, I'm sure they were saying that all the time. But anyway, so we did see the episode. Sing him a song of a chest that is wrong. Okay, that's enough. Are you gonna talk? Are you gonna talk or what? Oh my gosh, Carol. I haven't watched the whole thing, but we're taping this because Starz we saw the episode on Monday and Starz put the episode out on Thursday, so we're taping this a little early. Sam was on Cat Live with Kelly and Michael today.
Yeah, I missed it.
Okay, I watched like the first half when we were waiting to get all the stuff put together. But guess what Kelly said? Guess. Can you guess?
What did that she or someone she knows watches the Outlander Purgatory videos?
No, it wasn't quite that good. But it was pretty good because she was like, the fans are all like, woo! And Sam's talking about, like, I don't know if he mentions, like, how the fans are really, like, wild and whatever. And Kelly says something like, I was wondering about all the signs and paper dolls.
It's got to be different now. Can you go out anywhere, or do the paper dolls and the nude calendars?
Do you know what the paper dolls are?
Did you really think that was a good idea to tell me that? Because I'm thinking no. There can be only one.
Yeah, so the paper dolls have been mentioned by Kelly Ripa.
Okay, let's get on with it.
And FYI, just in case you guys didn't realize, Carol and I's dream of dreams is to be morning show hosts like Kelly and Michael.
Her dream of dreams. My dream of dreams is just to go to bed on time and get a decent night's sleep and not have a kid wake me up at 7 a.m.
We totally can do it. So if anybody's looking for morning show hosts, there you go. All right, you guys, let's do this.
All right, go.
So we'll am I in charge? Because I did write up notes, but they're not very.
You would take charge even if you weren't in charge. So just be in charge.
I'm just gonna sit here with my glass of wine and lead on.
Okay, so Claire wakes up in the middle of the grass. I had no idea.
Was it totally like Lost, like the opening shot ever of Lost? Did that remind you of it?
No, why?
Yeah,
that's a great point. Why?
The opening shot of Lost is like, I mean, it's not quite on her face like that, but it was totally like Jack lying on the ground.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It totally reminded me of the opening shot of Lost.
I have to say, Kat, are we calling her Kat now instead of Kate?
Yeah.
What?
So,
I know, but we always call her Kate, and you
I call her Kat.
You corrected me and said Kat the other day. All I have to say is, that was some, you're going to laugh at me, but I mean it. That was some serious screaming. That was some serious, throaty.
Yes, agreed.
Like, oh my God, that was great screaming. So I was like, what the heck's she looking for? She's looking for the stone in the ring. When she had the ring, but she did not the wedding rings, not this one and this one, but she must have had a ring that she took with her, and the stone was missing, and she was looking through the grass.
I thought. See, I should preface this with we're going to try not to spoil. We're going to try not to spoil, and I don't really think this is a spoiler. But Jamie has like, because remember at their wedding, she wore like, Jamie has like a signet ring or something.
Okay, so the stone was missing.
That's what I thought it was. That's what I thought it was.
And the stone was missing, and my girl kept it. My girl at one point in the show was like, yeah, you're not burning this. And stuck it right in the box.
You mean Frank when Frank was burning her clothes?
Yes, we need to hurry up and get to that because I am bursting at the seams.
Okay, yeah. I have a lot to say.
So Claire wakes up and she realizes, holy shit, oh my God, everyone's gone. And in the back of her mind, she's like, I think I'm back in the 1940s. And she starts walking along the street, and there's this man comes up. We all saw it, so we all know what happened. And
wait, can I just interject something?
What?
Even as I loved it, and I have down here like visuals are stunning, and Claire's gone back. I kind of wish that they had, and there wasn't really a reason to do this because they let's cat out of the bag right in the previews and everything that she goes back. So, okay, I guess they kind of,
Right.
Shot it right away.
Right.
But I kind of wish that you didn't quite know what was going on. And how cool would it have been if you're not quite, she's lying on the ground, so maybe she's run away from Jamie again, because, Clara's want to do that. And she's kind of lost now, and she's at the stones for some reason, and she's walking around, and she's walking down a path or whatever, and you don't know where she is, and then all of a sudden in the distance you see a car. And you're just like, holy shit, she's gone back.
I think if you watched the show or read the books, you know she's gone back.
Well, no. If you read the books, you know she's gone back. Yes, of course. And if you watch the show, you know she's gone back only because it was in the previews a million times.
Yeah.
We never really discussed that too much. And I mean, I get it. The only reason I think that they needed to put it in the previews like that is to be like, yes, America, Tobias is still in the show, so don't worry.
I don't know.
Don't worry. Tobias is contractually obligated to be in the previews.
I seriously have no idea what I also, as you all, any of you who come to chat know, I don't care. I don't like to sit and to me it's it's because I'm a Capricorn. To me it's like a big time waster. I don't know why. I don't know why Ron thinks the way he thinks. I don't know why. I just know they did it and that's that.
I'm just saying it was because you were the one that called me when you opened the book and started reading.
Well, let me tell you something. That is really what they covered so well because they really had to do it visually and they couldn't do it the way it was in the book because you wouldn't grasp it. My God, did you grasp it? And again, I love when they change things because when they change things, I get to experience it new all over again. So it's really cool like that. So I really loved it. But explain to me why Wee Roger laying there with the little plane falling off his lap. In the beginning, every start to every show has a little tiny something. With him, it was he's napping and his plane falls off onto his book about, was it sailing?
Wrote down the plane. I didn't write down the book. I don't know what book he was reading. I think that it was significant because of the whole idea of he represents a child who is not the father's, but who is the father's.
Great point.
I didn't get that till he came in for real in the episode, and then I was like, oh, that's why he's the Easter egg. I get it now.
All right. I think it's a book about, yes, it's a ship. It's a ship on the sea. So the tall ship, something of the tall ship. So there you go. So I thought that was a neat little Easter egg or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, too.
Then we have Frank.
I have one thing here, just a small thing before we get to Frank. This new starting or the sort of
and the French. Love the French.
I love the French. The French was French fries and French dressing.
And to drink Peru. Name that movie,
that
people.
Movie is. If you know what that movie is,
don't
put
tell
it in
them.
the comments.
Don't tell them. Name that movie.
Name that movie. Okay. But I was just the minute I saw it, is there going to be something gross and disgusting in every season? Last year it was oh, let me sew.
I know.
This year it's oh, let me take this big nail and stick it in something.
Just so gross. I'm I can't.
Necessary? Yeah, whatever. But yes, it was. I like the French a lot. That was just a very nice. It's a very nice touch.
Yes.
Do that, and it definitely tells you that you have started a new chapter in their lives.
Right.
So then we get to Frank.
Frank walks in, talks to the doctor a little bit. Frank's visibly shaken, and as Tom said, couldn't he shave? I didn't even notice that, but he had a little 5 o'clock shadow, and here's me sticking up for Frank. I'm like, hey, listen, he probably got this call in the middle of the night, and then had to get in the car and drive. How long would it have taken? in 1948, and that's something I want to discuss. But 1948, how long would it have taken to drive from where he was in England to the Highlands in a
Well, having never driven from, say, London to the Highlands, I don't really know, like how the roads are or aren't or were back then. I mean,
some of them are the same now. Okay, so listen. Why change the year? Why change the year and make, in the book, it was, she went in 1943 and she came back in 1946.
No. She went from 1945 or 6. I honestly never remember because Diana mapped it up.
It was 3 years. 3 years. 1943 she left. 1946 she came back.
No. It was 1945 or 6. I don't remember what. She went back to 1743.
Okay, so maybe because didn't we say it was always 202 years or something?
That she says it's 200 years more or less in the stories. But no, it's either...
Okay, so it's 1743, and she goes back in 1746.
Right, correct.
And this we have to watch that we're not spoilery. We have to watch that we're not spoilery. But in the show, it's now 1948, and he says she was gone for 2 years.
It's like 2.5. I don't know.
He said
this is where I always get confused because the story goes that when Diana wrote the book, she was like played loose with the facts, whatever. She like got the date wrong basically. But I never remember if it was supposed to be 1945 or it was supposed to be 1946. I never ever remember it. And they corrected that date in later versions of the book. But it's either 45 to 48 or 46 to 48. I don't remember.
Okay.
But is that clear for you now?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because in the book, she was there from 1743 until 1746. That's 3 years. And he keeps saying 2 years. And you know what? Whatever. They changed it. I told you I don't really care when they change things. I just want to know why. I love the science behind why. Same thing with it worked out this way better visually if they sort of told the story a little bit more instead of going forward, whatever. But I would love to sit and listen to, and Ron Moore's probably already done it, but, talked about why they changed it, why it's going to be visually easier for us to understand. Do you remember that time we went to see Catherine Hardwicke? And she talked about...
I didn't see her. Yeah,
she talked about Twilight and why they filmed... You know what? Never mind, because that's too much, and I'm going to get into spoilers. But anyway, I love to hear either a director or creator or somebody talk about why they change it for the screen from the book. So, moving on, Frank talks to the doctor. The doctor says she's doing okay, but then he says, well, emotionally... and sort of leaves it at that. Then Frank walks in. I loved when she's like, would you turn that bloody music off?
Yeah, that was great.
And then
you should know it's him at that point.
And then she sees his reflection in the window. I thought that was one of the most fantastic things I've ever seen in anything. She sees his reflection in the window, which obviously it's not going to be too clear because it's in a window, so she immediately thinks Black Jack. And she goes, how? And then she goes, like, oh, Frank. Like, oh. But I also loved how he came near and he, for a second, was Black Jack. And she was like,
yeah. I have written down, Frank is so grateful, approaches her, and bam, it's BJR.
Yeah. Bottom line,
disturbing.
I don't think we really need to talk too much about this scene. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. And he comes into the hospital and she's obviously not... Claire.
Yeah, is Mrs. What's-Her-Name still working there? Because that's really who I need to talk to. You can go away.
I thought that was so awesome. And he was like, what? Huh? Why would you talk to her?
Let's talk about Frank.
But do you think... I really feel like Frank... Remember in the first season when he, knew how Mrs. Graham felt and he went back to the Stones, you know what I mean? A little part of him always... knew like it was a possibility. So when she was like, it's Mrs. Graham, he was like, And then he went over and saw the clothes, and the clothes were so spectacular. And when the Reverend told him, I know I'm jumping, the Reverend told him, like, they are worth those clothes.
No, it was Frank's friend.
Sent the letter, but he was talking to the Reverend about
these
it.
These are exquisite, and
yes. But I thought
that
the
was
Reverend,
interesting. And
did the Reverend read the letter?
What he just said, like, these look to be authentic 18th century clothing, very valuable.
Yes.
Where'd you get them?
How do you like the paparazzo in the hospital?
I know, right? No, oh my God! And I wrote this down too. I was like, damn it! I was half hoping that, like, Frank would beat the shit out of him, like he did with the guys in the
Wussy Wuss of Wussland just said
No. Frank was far too ensconced in being a, wussy wusserson. Yeah.
I was like, hey, Frank, your wife doesn't even
talk
have
about
a
Frank,
bra.
and I don't know how to do this without quite, like, talking about the book. So maybe we save that for the very end. Maybe we'll, like, we'll circle back to Frank for the last 5 minutes. Because I do have a lot to say about that, and I'm sure you do too.
Okay, so...
And part of it involved stuff like this.
Okay, we're 20 minutes in, so I know, believe me. So obviously, they go to the Reverend so she can convalesce. And so Frank can have a brandy on the veranda.
All right, so she's talking to Mrs. Grant.
And you know that Frank's all, oh, darling, you can convalesce at the Reverend's. And he's thinking, and while she's convalescing, I can check out all kinds of history books.
No, I think Frank is far too devastated here to be thinking of any history. But let's talk about Mrs. Graham. So Claire, like, spilled the beans to Mrs. Graham, clearly.
Claire did not hold back. Claire's like, Mrs. Graham, remember that time Jamie ate a bannock? I swear to God, I was like, has Mrs. Graham met Jamie or something? Like, holy crap.
Mrs. Graham has awesome teeth. Just putting it out there. Like,
I don't think I noticed that. As I'm doing this.
I was watching it on, like, a big monitor, and I was like, damn, she's got some good...
you
got some good teeth.
I've been dipping in while I was waiting for Tracy's technical difficulties because it's 11:30 right now. So I am so tired. So I'm like, oh, my teeth. Okay. So Mrs. Graham, I thought that was great that she could confide in her. Mrs. Graham gave her great advice.
Yeah, Mrs. Graham was totally on board with the whole thing.
Yes.
She's like, it's all cool.
Yeah,
it's all good.
She needed someone who would believe her, and she needed a female. I think she needed a female, nothing against you guys, any of you men who might be watching, but sometimes you just need a female to listen to you cry.
Yes, you need to talk to your bestie.
You need your BFF. You need your girlfriends.
Yeah. It's totally true. What?
So,
Echo.
Okay, hi.
What? I was hearing my own voice.
Then, Frank, I'm kind of, like, forgetting some of the details. Like, I don't think we need to go over the entire scene. He looks outside. He's sitting there like a sad little puppy dog watching them talk. Claire's like, I know I have to forget him. Get off my back. and poor Mrs. Graham's like, okay, Dana, you do. And so,
Then Frank's going upstairs.
How about when Claire's all cursing at Mrs. Graham? And then she's like, sorry, is it 1948? I'm sorry. So then, Claire and Frank have the talk.
Claire's like, want to come inside for a nightcap?
Tom said the same thing. Tom was like, she said that, and Tom was like,
it's like this, turn with her right
yeah,
like that.
Yeah, ooh, I'm getting a little tonight. And then she's like, so we can talk? And they sit down at the fire, and they have their whiskey, and they start chit-chatting, and she tells them the whole story, right?
All night long. I love that, like, they're still talking, and the sun is coming up, and he gets the bird.
That Mrs. Graham's ready to serve the black pudding, and he's like, not right now. But, so, tell me this, I assume we are to believe that she told him the whole thing.
She told him everything.
Well,
that's what I think. She told him everything. She told him...
I don't know if she told him about Jamie's unflagging joy. I know she told him a lot, but come on now.
Do you think she told him that Jamie cannot be gentle about it? Oh my god.
Okay, so she told him everything, and this is where...
And he's all like, it's okay, good, because I still love you.
Yes, and this is where Tom starts getting mad. Because as Tom said, and I'm not going to be able to do this as well. Is he still in there? Because you still in there?
What?
Okay, I just want to make sure the TV's on.
Can I just say it off
Sorry,
camera?
everyone.
Say
So
it on camera.
he said something like that. Claire was like, I went, I got married, I'm pregnant, deal. Tom was so annoyed that she just, as far as he's concerned, she just has this attitude, and she's like unrepentant. Like she's she's not sorry, and she's just what word do I want? She's just
Unrepentant is a good word.
she's just not apologizing. This is the way it is. I love him. I don't love you. Well, she didn't say I don't love you, but she's like, I love him, and that's that. And Tom feels like, are you kidding me that you're not going to be a little bit more, this guy's crying. He's a broken man, and he still loves you after 3 years, and he doesn't know she's pregnant yet. And he's, he's like, welcoming you back with open arms, and you're telling him I married someone else, and I still love him, and I don't love you. Or she didn't say I don't love you, but he just thought that she was very,
Cold.
cold. Great word, cold.
I mean...
I didn't. I stuck up for her. I was like, she's numb. She just went through the stones. She's missing Jamie. This was the best. Ron Moore, what they brought across was that feeling you had in the book where I called you. You said to me, read the first page. And I just remember I hung up with you and I read some more, and I remember calling you, and I think you were at work. And I was like in tears, and I said, he's dead. I was like, Jamie's dead. That realization you get where you're like, he's dead. And it just hits you like a ton of bricks when you're reading the book. And I remember you saying to me, he's been dead since before she went back. He was dead when the book started. He was dead on the first page of the book. And I was like, I need to go lie down and think to myself about this. And that's what they brought across in the show with Frank.
The other thing, too, is what's her mindset when she... Okay, so all we know right now, we don't know how she got back through the stones. All we know is that something happened to make her go back through.
Right.
So what's her intent? Is her intent to go find Frank and be like, okay, here I am. I don't love you anymore, but you still have to put up with me because you married me, bitch.
Well, I think that
her intent may have just been to,
she's too
wander the
numb.
earth.
She's too numb to have an intent. She doesn't She doesn't have anything. She doesn't have anything. She's a mess. She doesn't know where she is. She knows where she is, but she doesn't know where she is. She doesn't know when, what, how, why. She doesn't know any of it. She just is. He came for her. She didn't even go to him.
She never asked him to.
She walked along the street until she heard, "You all right, Mum?" And then she was in a hospital listening to that bloody music. And then he took her back to convalesce. And here she is. She didn't ask for anything. She didn't go to him. She didn't request anything. She's just going through the motions.
I get Tom's point of view, but I think we both are on the same page of it's not black and white, it's gray. And the fact is that she didn't ask for this. She didn't ask him to, come save her or whatever. She, at this point, I really think she doesn't give a shit whether she lives or dies at this point. She really doesn't.
No.
She really doesn't, because...
No, I'll tell you what she gives a shit about. What's the next thing she tells him?
The baby?
That's the only thing she gives a shit about right now. She knows.
Oh, you're
how it
listening
must
to
sound.
that. I thought that was me.
No, I'm just following it along so I know where we are. So
Oh,
and how about
okay.
Frank when she's like, I'm pregnant, and he's like, no. First he's like, that's wonderful. And then he's like this. Oh my God, Tobias Menzies. This is why we have Tobias Tuesday, because Tobias is like this. That's wonderful. It was so perfect.
Tobias was, I probably have written down here 3 different times. Tobias is really great. Here, look. Tobias, it's really great.
Oh my God. And the tears in his eyes.
I know.
As he's telling her, I love you. I was just like, oh my God, you poor thing.
But it was funny where he's thinking for 5 minutes that it's his. And I'm like, yeah, because,
You're like,
the gestation period of the Tobias sperm is more like an elephant or something with the 48-month gestation period.
Yeah, you might be a historian heading to heading to Harvard, but you're not too quick on that uptake, are you?
Yeah, you're never gonna be a Sheldon Cooper, Tobias. No, not gonna happen.
Holy cow, really? So, yeah. So then he busts past Mrs. Graham and her black pudding and goes outside.
And beats up the shed.
Which Tom and I both were like, what is that all for? Well, first he wanted to beat up Claire.
Oh, and that was scary too.
It was so perfect when he gets in. I thought it was probably Ron or whoever who directed this episode.
It was, I meant to get his last name. It was Metin, I think is the first name.
Okay. So
it wasn't Ron wrote the episode, but he didn't direct it.
Well, either Ron writing it or the director, I'm thinking they were probably like, Tobias, you just do whatever you want to do. And that whole, I think that was him. I really do. And then he talks to the Reverend again. Oh my God, enough with the Reverend and Tobias. I love that they're friends and Reverend gives him advice. And I love how Tobias is like, look, if you're going to have to compare my pregnant wife with that little kid on the couch who just heard me use the F word, I think you're mistaken.
The best line, I'm fairly certain the Father is not God Almighty.
I'm not. So
no, that's what Frank says. Frank says, because he starts comparing him. Wakefield starts comparing Frank to Joseph and Claire to Mary. He's like, I'm not Joseph, and Mary, and I'm sure that the Father is not bloody God Almighty.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So then he goes back up to talk to Claire and gives her his conditions and is like, look, I'll take you back, no questions asked. I'll raise this kid, but get your damn head out of the clouds, and I don't want to hear about Jamie anymore. So put away your books, and let me tell you something. This was my favorite part about the episode. Claire sitting out there poring over Culloden in these books was what I needed, because how many times have I waxed on these videos and on the blog, myoutlanderpurgatory.com, for years. It has killed me. How could she come back through those stones and go back to Frank and never once look? Because in the book, it isn't, you don't ever see her. She basically says, look.
Excuse me, spoiler alert.
I thought he was dead. He was going off to die, and that was that. So I needed, you wouldn't call it, I don't know if you'd call it closure. I needed to see her psycho, ferociously flipping through those books looking for anything she could.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool to see.
It made so much more sense.
All of this part with the whole Frank and stuff, it's sort of alluded to in the books, or maybe mentioned a little in a paragraph, but it doesn't ever go into depth like that.
Not at all. And I'm so thrilled that
it's kind of cool, yeah.
Because that's
cool,
normal behavior. Anybody would do that. You would, and he's a historian, for God's sake. You'd be like, oh, he's going to have all this information. Mm-hmm. So, but what killed me was they make the little pact. Okay, I'll stop talking about Frank, about Jamie, and she turns around and picks up the clothes and hands them to him. And I'm like, it's like when you're watching a movie or when you're watching a show that they quickly put on pause and they go, like the needle scraping across a record. I'm like, I'm sorry, did you just give him your clothes from the 18th century? No, you put them in a box, you put them in the attic, but you don't throw them out, let alone burn them.
It's funny because I thought that the burning of the clothes was just like, wait, where's the, here, let me get my little thing here. So let me, but I didn't notice that she handed him the clothes.
She turned around.
How? How did I not?
She turns around and says, like, time to give up the past or something like that. I could tell you right now because I have it right in front of me. I
must have been talking to you during the first one that I saw and talking to John during the second one I saw.
Well, that's what Tom would tell you is your problem.
I know.
Here, listen. Shh. Shh. Hang on. I got it. It's hard on the, Oh, remember she goes to get off the ring. I'm like, no!
Oh, I know.
She went to take off the ring. Is she nuts?
Although her fingers are so skinny that I think she's probably like she's so faking like.
It was like this. It was like this. But she goes.
I know.
Okay, wait.
Frank, get the butter.
All right. How about how she tells Frank, I promised him I would. And Frank's like, she's like, yeah, like, Jamie told me to come to you, and to give him up.
Give him up. All right. Don't worry about that. I believe you. Wait. Okay, so they're off to Boston. And I have to say, I just wrote down, Jesus Christ, Claire, those shoes.
But those shoes,
like man shoes, Claire.
Oh, but they were like for the times.
No, but I mean, it's not even like cool man shoes, just like ugly man shoes. Come on.
Well, they match her mood.
Oh, that's true. This is true.
Oh, see, I almost just said I love Frank. When he hugs her and she hugs him back, I have to say, and he's like, but then he has to ruin it and go, you've made me very happy. And I'm like, so shut up, Frank. But I just loved him in this. I'm like, oh, look at him. And she's in tears and she's like, I can't stand you, but I have no other choice. She's like this, hugging him, like picturing hugging. Wait. She picks up the clothes. Here she goes. Time to leave the past behind. Time to be a dumbass bitch. Are you kidding
I missed that part.
Let me tell you something. I guess it's just because I'm like such a history dork. I love antiques. I love things from the past. There is no way, no day could I have ever gotten rid. I would have said, listen, here's my conditions. I appreciate you taking me in with the bun in the oven. And I'll do my best to not look at you like I hate you, but I need to take all the stuff and I need to put it in the box in the attic because I need to know.
At the very least, I'd be like,
sell it.
You heard your history friend. These are like, worth a mint. Like, how much do you think we can get for them?
Yeah. Hey, Frank, we need to buy a house in Boston. I mean,
Boston ain't cheap, my friend.
And they were pristine. They were pristine clothes. I want to know why
Terry Dresbach. Come on.
I want to know why dude who wrote the letter wasn't like, I need some answers from you, right? And he wrote a letter, so how did he see the clothes?
True that. Maybe
did he write a letter?
Maybe, yeah, he did, but maybe Frank met up with him to show him the clothes, or maybe.
I know Frank wasn't taking a selfie and taking a picture. So anyway, I would have, at the very, 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 very least, if I was going to get rid of them, which no way, no day, I would have sold them.
Yeah.
But
or giving them to a museum. See, that's the thing, and you're right. And because when I just felt ballistic when Frank was burning the clothes. And I was just like, he's burning the clothes. Oh my God, he's burning the clothes.
Burning the clothes.
But like, again, to what you said, like, Frank is a historian. He lives and breathes history. Like how, like, that's really, and like Jacobite history. Like, he's a big, like, that whole time period is a real big thing for him.
Right.
So to think of him, like, taking this authentic piece of, you know, yesterday and throwing it on the fire. Like, think about that. You know? That's, like, really significant.
Big, huge, hairy deal. Now, explain to me why she looks out the window. She sees him burning the clothes. She looks completely helpless. But she's all, yeah, I'm going to put it away. So it's almost like burning Jamie's memory. And she looks up to the sky while the Quiet Man music is playing in the background. Dear Bear McCreary, I need to know if you're a fan of the Quiet Man, because Tom and I both were like, this is so Quiet Man. So she's like, and it's like, doo, 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 and she's like this, staring up to the sky. Explain that.
I thought she was following the trail of smoke. That's because I sort of noticed that too, that like, they just seem to up for no reason, but that's where it kind of, like, the smoke from the fire was going up and up and up and up. And
right. Now, because then the next scene you see is her face looking out of the plane window. And of course I have to pick on Frank, because they show the door to the plane, out gets Frank, looks out into the New York air, and departs down the stairs. Completely forgetting that he's got not only a wife, but a pregnant wife, and a pregnant wife who's been gone for, 3 years.
He knew that there was a really awesome shot about to happen.
Well, so here he is, Frank's all holding on, walking down. I'm like, dude, maybe you could wait for her and, like, help her down the stairs.
I just thought the plane was really cool, too, because, like, one of our favorite movies that is, like, a remote down movie for us in our house is The Aviator, which is a lot of, well, it's about Howard Hughes, but a lot of it is about the whole, like, power struggle between Howard Hughes, that was the, I think he started Pan Am. No, he started TWA, and Juan Trippe was the Pan Am guy. And I think this plane, I wrote it down. Yes, it was Pan Am flight. So, like, I was just thinking about The Aviator and Juan Trippe and stuff.
One more step. One more step. Wouldn't it be so funny if he was like, one more step. And she was like backing up, going back up to the thing.
But then, so one more step. Here we go.
And then that hand.
Here we go.
And there he is. And the entire theater erupts because you know it's coming.
Okay.
You know Jamie's coming, so
here he is. That was a really great shot, though. That was, I mean, come on. That was really great.
Amazing. But you know what bothered me? We saw it in the scenes. We saw it in a trailer. I was like, oh, why did they do that in the trailer? I would have been much happier if I had never seen it.
Again, like, you know, I really would have liked, I think that's, whatever. I would have tried to keep the secret that she goes back a little bit. Because just think about that. If you don't know the books and you don't know what's going on, and you're just kind of like, wait, why is she back at the Stones? What's going on? Wait, is she lost again? Oh my God. You'd have the same reaction that people in the books have. But never mind.
All right.
It's all good.
So she and Jamie get off the boat. Murtaugh bitches about the frogs.
And there's Murtaugh.
And which is cool. I really loved the scene where the two of them are in like their hotel room or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. And I put Claire and Jamie plotty. They're just like that.
Totally. I just loved like Jamie being like, sometimes I can feel his touch.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I'm here. He's like he's right here, and she's like, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going anywhere. And then they start talking about the Jacobite rebellion and everything, which was really awesome. This is really where they plan it all out, kind of, you know?
Yep.
And I love they brought book Jamie into it, the way he's like, what about our souls? Which that's so totally Jamie, you know?
Also, the whole puking on the boat thing is very Jamie, too.
Yes. I wish they had gotten more into that, but whatever. Actually, I wish we had seen it. I guess that's a little too... we'll see that again sometime. I guess that was a little... So they have their little talk, and they're like, all right, we're going to go and talk to Jared. And, I loved that they talked to Murtaugh. And Murtaugh's like, what's the reason behind it? That was the worst accent.
And Jared, let's talk about Jared for a minute.
Wait a minute. Is it me, or is Murtaugh looking, like, cleaner and better in this?
Murtaugh is looking cleaner, and he looks very, very clean and fresh for someone who had just gotten off a boat. And, well, I guess that boat, you know what? The boat ride to France probably is not that long, right? I mean, what do you're going, like, through the, I have no idea.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
I mean, it's maybe a day.
I'm not going to
Maybe
try.
two. I don't know.
Did I tell you? Well, I can't say this. Whoa, that would have been a spoiler. Never mind. I'll tell you something funny.
But I was going to say about Jared. He went to Jared.
Hang on. Are you skipping to when they talk to Jared?
Yeah, you just talked about Jared.
Hang on, though. I'm talking about Murtaugh. They don't go to Jared yet because
You just talked about Jared.
I just said something about that.
You talked to Jared. They went to Jared.
No, they were going to go to Jared because they discussed the whole thing. They were going to go to Jared, but then they get off. They don't get off the boat then, but they go and they talk to Murtaugh. And I love how Murtaugh's like in their faces, and I kind of felt like Claire was like, "We can't tell you," and I'm thinking, oh, he's been with Jamie since Jamie was a wee babe. I almost said pup like that woman in the panel the other day. Did you watch any of the panel?
No, I have to watch. This week is just
we'll discuss that later. Yeah. But I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if there's a part of Murtaugh that's like, listen, biatch, I've been with Jamie a lot longer than you. She's like, we can't tell you. But I did love the fact that they told him, look, we are going to tell you. We just can't tell you right now, but we'll fill you in. Okay.
Don't forget, Murtaugh and Claire have this bond.
Yes.
From, the bad episode that nobody but me likes.
Yes,
where they're on the road.
Yes. Okay, so Jared and the shirt.
Okay, so Jared.
Just to let you know, 46 minutes.
All right. We're getting towards the end.
Yeah.
Jared, I don't know. Like, I like Jared. I think Jared's great. It's a great character. In my mind, he's very young and spry. I don't know why I thought in the books like that Jared was much older and kind of decrepit a little bit.
Right.
But he's almost more of a contemporary of Jamie's.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, he seemed older. Although I don't think I saw him as too much older. Now that I think about it. Now that I'm looking at him.
I saw him as more Jamie's father's age, I would say. Or older than that.
Every once in a while, from a certain angle, he gives me Kevin Spacey and I laugh. It's like he's Kevin Spacey with the wig. It's like he's Frank Underwood with the wig on.
Speaking of that, I just watched episode 4 tonight. Have you watched House of Cards at all?
Whole thing. Done. Already done.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
You go out a lot more than I do. Okay, so he shows Jared is back, and it's, the tears are flowing again.
Yep.
Anytime they whip Jamie's back out,
they play
in front of the masses, you're going to cry. So I love Jamie this time around because you see the change. He's hardened. Mm-hmm. He's way hardened. I don't love it because he was much better being jovial and unflagging joyously, living his life. But it's interesting.
He's becoming a man.
He is. Well, it's not just becoming a man. I mean, what he's been through has hardened him. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's got a tough exterior now. He and Claire seem more equal.
Oh, you know what got me? It wasn't even the back. So I'm used to the back by now. The back, I'm like, yeah, whatever. He turns around, and as he's putting his shirt back on, you see this. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Maybe you can't see it from that. You see, like, right here.
Okay.
Where he got the burn, where they cut out the burn, the tattoo, or the...
Ew.
Yes, you see that big round scar. For like 2 seconds. Like, you totally will miss it. If you
I didn't notice that, so yes. I'm going to have to...
There.
I have it on again right now. I love how he whips his shirt off, and Jared's like, okay, my
bad. Yeah, get it. You're good. We're all good.
Oh, okay. Why don't you lead the whole thing?
Okay.
So now you have me wanting to see this part.
All right. Well, wait. All right. While you're looking, so
He's doing
okay.
it.
So they talk to Jared. Then Claire goes for a walk, as she's wont to do. Happens upon
I don't see it.
dudes bringing in a guy on a stretcher.
Uh-huh.
Of course, because Claire never met a situation that she didn't want to like run in and take charge of and like claim her healing prowess.
You know, I just have to quick backtrack for 2 seconds. When his back made me think of when Frank said flogging.
Oh yeah, don't ever say that.
Claire was like, "Don't ever say that in my presence," and Tom was like, "Oh, poor you." You know, like, "Oh, don't ever." Is there anything else you'd like me to not say in your presence?
Spare me the drama.
He said, "Spare me the drama." He just repeated it for me.
So anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. So
Anything
Claire.
else? Just one word to describe Claire. He goes, "Bitch." Oh, come on, give us more. Your public awaits.
We want more, Tom. Please, Tom. Can we have some more?
Okay, so we
Like Oliver?
Please, sir. I want some more.
okay, so he's here, but he's not going to be on camera, I don't
pickles.
think. Yeah, I took the pickles out. Okay, so really quick, anything for Tom?
I don't know. What does he want to tell us?
No, I'm going to bed. It's very late.
Frank.
I like Frank. I relate to Frank. Not that I don't have a spine like a jellyfish like Frank doesn't, but all I'm saying is Frank's done nothing wrong. Frank
Yes.
is Frank.
Wrong.
No, you're right. In book 4,
No. Spoilers. You can't. We're only up to right now. Oh God, you're gonna have to cut that out.
here's
What?
the deal.
Tom just said in book 4, and I stopped.
Well, he did that in book. Yeah, in book 7. Oh, I didn't say anything.
Claire has an unbelievable attitude. She comes back from the dead. She's gone for 2 years. She's pregnant. She hasn't been around for 2 years. She comes back and she's like, Frank, I was in love with another man. I was in another time. And I'm pregnant with his baby. Deal. And Frank's like, I'm just grateful that you're here, Frank. I mean, like, could the man be more spineless? I mean, like, I get it. He's, but nothing that happened before now counts, Claire. It's just that you're back. And I can't blame the guy for being spineless because he's spineless, but Claire is just insufferable. And this is why I hated her in the books. And I didn't hate her in season one because in season 1...
Caesar, slip of the tongue, Rome.
I know, right? In season 1...
Oh, you watch Rome, we did.
They kind of like softened her up in season 1. They made you like her. But in season 2, the whole book's coming back. And this is why I hated the books. No, I didn't hate the books. I hated Claire in the books. Because this is what Claire was in the books. That attitude that she had laying in that hospital bed, like, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm pregnant. I haven't been around 2 years. What's your problem? That's what I hate about Claire. That's Claire in a nutshell. And Frank is this jellyfish that's just happy because he knew he married way above his station. Way above his station, right? Right? Okay?
Easy.
So, Frank knows this, so he's just happy to have Claire back in his life.
I guess. I mean, Frank's taken himself to Harvard.
I promised, like, hang on for 15 minutes until we
Wait
talk.
till
JC,
Wait.
our friend, the author JC Bodden, hears this.
He went to Harvard to escape England and the media. The media's no better then, in 1940 whatever, than it is today.
Great point.
Oh, true that.
Yep.
True that. Like,
Great
he's
point.
So across the
He
pond,
went to escape
and like,
the
Peter Hopper's
media.
going to be
The
all
media-
over that.
Did you remember the paparazzi? The paparazzi was in the hotel
I
room.
said that.
Or the hotel,
In the
the
hospital.
hospital room, snapping pictures.
And what did the jellyfish do?
Nothing. That's what I'm saying. The only time that really like surprised me with Frank. Remember when he met the people in the alley and the one was like trying to fleece him and like he got out the brass knuckles and he knuckled him up. I was like, wow, Frank's got some talent. You know what I mean? Like Frank's like a cage fighter of his day.
Tom, this is written in my notes.
He's
Like,
spitting
wait.
pickles on
I
it.
was spitting pickles.
And you drank all the... You were just on camera.
Tom, tell Tom.
Tom was just on
wrote in
camera.
I wrote in my notes, photographer, wanted Frank to pound on him like alleyway dude. Like, I totally was
She had
hoping
that in
that,
her notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
like, boom.
Wouldn't you?
Frank
I mean,
just
wouldn't you?
stood there
What?
like this.
Of course I would.
Frank wanted to
He's so
pound
used-
Claire.
He's so used to being beaten down like a puppy, like, you know, turn down that dreadful thing. Like, it's a radio, okay? I mean, it's not even like, you know, it's not even like a stereo. It's just, it's like, you know, like tubes and stuff, you know, with dials and like, you know, 60, 61, 62. What a joke.
They should have had it
And
playing.
he's like, okay, Claire, happy you're back. I'll turn it down.
Now, any of you whose husbands haven't read the book yet or boyfriends, you gotta make them. Because this is sick fun. This will go on all day. We were yelling at each other while we were watching this because I was like, don't you talk about Claire. And he was,
And this is
I
why
was like, you don't know what
this
she's
is why I hated Claire in the books, but I didn't hate her in season 1 because they softened her up
Well,
in
maybe
season 1.
they'll soften her up
They-
next week.
They
There's
made,
always next week.
they made her the more lovable Claire in season 1. And in season
I
2,
understand.
it all came flooding back. The whole reason why. And what was the first episode in season 2? The burning of the ship. And that's the main reason
Yeah,
why
that
I
ticked
hate
me
her.
off in the
Oh,
book,
I
too.
remember
Yep.
that. I remember
I
that.
know better than... What did she always say? I was born in the year of the Lord, 1940, whatever, and I was immunized and vaccinated, and I don't care about smallpox. I'll pox on you. Back up. Everyone back up. I'm a woman. Hear me roar. Back up. I don't fear smallpox.
Can you tell that when I got my wee dram, someone else got a not so wee of a dram?
Anyway, I'm going to bed.
Well, that was on camera.
Oh my god.
You just kissed
Carol
me
just totally made out on camera, you
on
guys.
camera.
Oh, you want to see making out? You don't even know making out.
Oh God, now he's really coming over here. Oh please, look at me in my. Oh Lord. This is wee Ian's shirt, by the way. That I'm not even wearing my own clothes. Okay.
Stretch. It's midnight, and I have to watch at least one episode of Gilmore Girls.
Oh God, I gotta go to bed.
Okay. All right. So we're like, Claire's barreled in. She's seen the pox. She can't get the pox. She knows it's pox.
Stay back. I've been vaccinated.
And this is where everyone starts speaking French, and I'm thinking to myself, are we in for like 13 episodes of Jean?
Hey, let me tell you something.
Subtitle.
Let me tell you something. The Comte can say
Whatever
whatever he wants.
It all dissipated when the Comte walked through, and they're like,
He-
"Oh, it's the Comte de blah blah
He
blah."
opened his mouth. I mean, he showed up on the screen, and I was like, "That's not how
Yeah.
my Comte looked."
As they say in the old country, married. Is that what I want to say?
I was like, "My guy was old and ugly. Like this guy is."
No, this Comte was pretty much in my head what I pictured.
Oh
Um,
no!
Pretty hot, pretty like refined. Good call on
He
this
is
one. Good
minty,
call.
Minty times 10.
Minty French.
You know what's kind of funny? In my mind, he's sort of like in turn if they mix Benedict Arnold and Major Andre together. That's who you're gonna get. That guy was so okay. Anyway, so I look forward to another 12 episodes of some fun stuff with him because he's a great character. They got him in right away, and let's go.
Yes. I did laugh when they were like just being from New York, New Jersey, and taking like public transportation a lot. I did laugh at the line, "This is a matter best left to the Port Authority." I was like, you don't want to leave nothing to the
You don't
Port
know about
Authority.
the Port Authority. Yeah, no.
Port Authority of New Jersey, New York. Yeah, no.
Yeah, but nothing against anybody from Port Authority. They work hard.
No, I have friends that work at the Port Authority.
They work hard.
Yes, they do.
It's just the whole system sometimes is a little crazy.
And that's pretty much it, I think.
And they did it like the book. So
Yes.
hang on. They did it like the book, so I can't really say anything. But I felt the same way when I was reading the book. Sort of like Jamie really isn't speaking. There are just a few times when Claire's getting all indignant and Jamie's just sitting there. And I'm like, dude.
Well, he interjects every once in a while.
You
Like, don't
need
talk
to
to my woman that way.
You need to
In French.
shut your
Let's
woman
not
up. I am sorry, but you need to, for her own good, you need to shut your woman up. You know what I mean? Like, she's going to get y'all killed.
Mm-hmm. No, Jared was more like, yeah, you probably should shut up.
She's going to get them all killed. Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway.
So that's the first episode
That's
in
it,
the books. In les books, as they say.
Yes. Yes. How did you like through a glass darkly?
What do you think that means?
Well, wasn't it the other one was through a looking glass darkly?
What other one?
What was the last episode of the first season?
I don't remember. It was I'm Jamie and I'm like really sore.
Oh God. You know what? I'm told wrong. It was to ransom a man's soul. So where am I getting... Was that a chapter title in the book?
I think it was, maybe. I think it was. All right, we have to wind this down. I do want to talk for a couple minutes, like, more spoilery about Frank stuff.
Okay, so everybody...
If you're... This, you know what? This really isn't even spoilery. If you're totally like, I don't want to know anything about the books, then, like, we'll see you next week. If you don't care... And it's really not giving things away. We're just I just do have to bitch and moan a little bit, and I think Carol does too.
Yeah, and forgive us for being tired.
Yeah. So
forgive
like 2
me for having red eyes that match my red shirt.
So okay. So again, not a real spoiler, but
excuse me, spoiler alert.
But like referring to the books from here on in. So if you read the books, you know, like we said. None of the Frank stuff really happens in the book, but in the books, Frank has clearly moved on. You know, nothing's ever said. He doesn't have a new wife. He doesn't have a new girlfriend that Claire meets or whatever. Right. But clearly, the appearance of Claire after 3 years is a very unexpected occurrence. Would you agree?
And in the show, it's like he's been sitting home, like holding his breath.
And in the show, it's like, which was kind of disappointing. I have to say, like, and you know what? Maybe we're gonna find out that maybe he wasn't so like, you know, sitting by the phone figuratively.
Imagine what Auntie is saying right now.
I know, right?
Auntie comes to chat on Monday nights, and she's got plenty to say about Frank and the way Frank is portrayed.
But I feel like it was just new. It was, I mean, everything that Tom said, spineless, and yeah, I mean, I agree.
I was disgusted with the paparazzo that he did nothing. I was like, he just stood there. I guess because it was just shocking. I don't know, but.
It's just, I mean, it's more interesting and it's more real. Like, what would happen with anybody after 3? If this happened to anybody, okay? If your spouse or significant other, I mean, I don't know, whatever. But like, chances are, after 3 years, it's gonna be like, okay, you know, I'm moving on. I can't be like this forever. And you know what I always said last time around in last season? I thought the last scene would be, you know, cut to black, lights up again. You see Frank like in his office at Oxford or at his apartment, and there's some woman there, and maybe he's like engaged or whatever, and the phone rings, and it's Scotland Yard, and
that would have rocked. No,
what?
Because I said that would have rocked.
Yeah,
they make Frank look like a saint.
But like but to say that like Frank has moved on, Frank has
and it's okay.
has continued his life as anybody else would, and
it's okay, and no one would fault him for it.
Right? Of course not. This, I mean, he's almost getting more grief from us this way than he
for
did
being a wussy jellyfish.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That was kind of like, I was like, I mean, I don't know what the intent is.
And how about him being so incredibly engulfed in thoughts of people thinking that she left of her own accord and that he was so happy to know she didn't choose to leave.
Well, I don't think he cared like what other people thought.
No,
I think he, and I mean that makes sense. Like, you don't want to think that somebody left you because they thought you were boring or dull or didn't love you anymore or whatever. You don't want something bad to happen to them either, but like, I'm sure a part of you would be like, it wasn't me, thank God, it wasn't me. It wasn't something I did. I don't know where she went, but I'm really tired and we got to wrap this up. So that's really, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we're done.
It'll be very interesting to see in future episodes, like, how much they flash back and forward to the two of them.
Well, that's what I want to know. Are we even going to see Tobias anymore this season?
I think that we will.
Do we know? Have they said?
I think they're going to return to Frank and Claire.
Okay. Speaking of the word return to Frank, turn, AMC, April 25th, you have got to go back and watch the rest.
You guys, I'm 6.5 episodes into my Gilmore Girls binge. It's so good.
I think you mean
so
seasons.
Good, but so making me want to like take this like letter opener and either like go or like at one of them.
Okay.
I don't know.
The only reason I'm bringing up Turn is because it is Revolutionary War. It is red coats. It is fighting the English, so you can tie it into Outlander. You know what I'm saying? It's fighting the English and English rule and the military and blah, 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 blah. So I just think that you need to get past where you stopped, and you're going to love it. Love it, love it, love it.
All right, so
she's all writing me, but she's not going to do it.
Yeah. So,
and there's so many people who are Outlander fans who love Turn.
So let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know any questions or things you want to say.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on the blog, blah, 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 blah.
Bye, everyone.
That's it.
We
will see you next week, you guys. Have a good week. Bye. Do you know how to turn this off, Carol?
Oh, yeah, I forgot I have.